Hello, my name is Arnetra and welcome to my channel, Movies, Books, TV. Oh my! It's been a while since I've posted anything, but I just watched Zack Snyder's Justice League and I wanted to come up on here quickly and just talk about all of the feelings I feel after watching this movie. So to start, I am a fan of the Snyderverse. I like Man of Steel. When I first saw it, I didn't think it was a good Superman movie, but I did think it was a good action movie. I've since changed my opinion on the movie. I do now think it's a good origin for Superman. I love Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. It was my favorite movie the year it was released. I really feel that Zack Snyder was trying to do very interesting and new things with these characters, and I appreciated it. And that's why 2017's Justice League really felt like such a deep disappointment. It was nothing like what had become before, and I understand at that point the WB was trying to distance itself from the Snyderverse and it was trying to pivot and springboard to something else, but it didn't even feel like a good foundation to springboard to other things. It was too cartoony, it was too jokey, it didn't feel like DC. It felt like a very watered down version of what Marvel was doing, by people who didn't get what Marvel was doing. I mean, the jokes worked in Marvel for the most part, and they didn't work for these characters because they weren't making the kind of jokes that these characters in this universe would make. So it just felt off. It didn't feel authentic. But 2021's Justice League really feels like a heightened and improved continuation of what came before. I mean, Zack Snyder is still gonna Zack Snyder and have his slow-mo shots with music in the background that doesn't necessarily go with what's happening on the screen. But you know, every director has their tales. And what he gets right in this movie, he really gets right. And that is when these characters feel like people. They no longer feel like avatars just saying words and doing things to move the plot along. I really feel like I was watching this one very specific moment in time of these people's lives. The 4-hour runtime, which to me it was just smooth and I didn't want it to end, it allowed Zack Snyder and Chris Terrio's script, a room to breathe and to grow and expand. And it really filled out the interstices of the story in a way that I think even was missing, at least in the theatrical cuts of Man of Steel and especially Batman vs. Superman. And I have to say, when we're talking about characters, Victor Stone, Cyborg, wow. Zack Snyder was not kidding when he said that he was the heart and soul of this movie. And I'm really dumbfounded why everything of his story, everything that made him a person, everything that made him a character that the audience would care about was cut from the 2017 version. Like everything, nothing was kept. I really loved the vulnerability of Cyborg. I really loved the gravitas of the character. I understand why Zack Snyder cast Ray Fisher. He was able to make Cyborg, like I said, vulnerable and relatable and likable, and You wanted this character to win. You wanted this character to reconnect with his there but not there father. This is why you gotta hire real actors. I really felt the tortured relationship between Joe Morton's father and between Ray Fisher's son. And it really felt like Joe Morton's character was trying to repair what he had broken. And I felt both of them reaching across the screen to one another. And it was wonderful to see a story that included, this black father and this black son trying to reconnect, to not get over, but get through the hurts and the misunderstandings of the past and really try to connect. And I think before, spoiler alert, we no longer see Joe Morton's character in the movie. I really do feel that he and Victor were able to at least get to that place where they were both ready and willing to look one another in an eye and have that relationship again and start building again. And the fact that this was completely removed from the 2017's Justice League was really questionable. Like, really, the character of color's backstory, that one was the one that was completely distilled and cut. But, we're not going to go there. I'm just glad that we were able to see it. And now, I want to see a Cyborg movie, or I would even like to see a 30 to 45 minute 6-episode streaming show with Cyborg where we just watch him, give money to different people and right wrongs digitally. That would be exciting. I would even like to see him in, the Flash's movie, because I really enjoyed the chemistry between Ray Fisher and Ezra Miller. And let's talk about the Flash. In 2017's Justice League, he was just annoying. But now, in this one, it reminds us why we all fell in love with Ezra Miller in the first place. He gives Barry this lightness and this likability. You just like Barry. You want him to win. Is he a spaz? Yeah, but a lovable spaz. This is the kind of character that you would feel like is your little brother, and you would want to take care of him. You would want to make sure he doesn't get hurt. And Miller does a really good job of bringing that likability and that humanness to Barry. And I want to see his movie. Before, I didn't care about Flash's movie. Now I want to see Flash's movie, and I hope that they can move forward with that. Aquaman with Jason Momoa, he doesn't get too much more to do in this movie, and that's okay, because remember when this was supposed to come out, this was an introduction to his character. We were going to get his movie the following year. So it really did feel foundational. I really do feel like I got who this guy was and what his issues are, and I wanted to explore this character more in his own movie. And I liked Aquaman. I mean, it's one of those movies. It was crazy, it was silly. I never have to watch it again, but it was a good experience in the IMAX theater. Oh, movie theaters. I can't wait till I can go there again. And Bruce Wayne, y'all can fight me on this, but I'm sorry, Ben Affleck is the best Bruce Wayne I've ever seen, will probably ever get. I'm rooting for Robert Pattinson. I think he's a really interesting choice. He's an actor who makes really interesting choices in his performances, so I'm excited to see what he does with Bruce Wayne and Batman. But everything that I've ever thought that Bruce Wayne was as a child and as a young adult and as a fan of Batman, Ben Affleck encapsulated that. And it's just nice to see him get to come back one last time and be Bruce Wayne. And in this iteration of the character, you really got to see how much of a mastermind Bruce Wayne is. He very much felt like the leader of the team. He very much felt like, I think, strategist or maybe tactician. I don't know. The person who places all of the pieces on the board set and puts them in play. That's this version of Bruce Wayne, and we really got to see that. I would love to have seen his version of the Batman movie, but alas. And of course, I was waiting the whole 4 hours to see Henry Cavill come back as Superman. The only thing I liked in the 2017 version of Justice League was the Superman resurrection scene when he came back and he didn't know who he was. He wasn't Clark. He wasn't Kal-El. He was just a reawoken, angry God. And we really, in this version, we really got to feel how terrifying Superman is without a moral compass. That was palpable in this scene. And I would love to see that explored in maybe, Justice League 2, or again, a streaming service with Henry Cavill as an unhinged Superman, as an unhinged Kal-El, someone who isn't Clark Kent anymore, and slowly getting him to come back to Clark. And this recontextualizes the scene in Batman versus Superman where we saw Bruce, I guess, dreaming. He thought he was dreaming of future Nightmareverse Barry Allen telling him that Lois Lane is the key. Here we see that Darkseid murders Lois Lane, and that's how Superman, devolves and becomes his Darkseid's Ace Boon Coon. So we know that to keep that from happening, we need to make sure that Lois Lane doesn't die. And so another thing I liked about Justice League is it really recontextualized things that we saw in the previous movies, specifically Batman versus Superman. And if you can think of any beats that recontextualize, other parts of either Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, let me know in the comments below. And of course, a girl Wonder Woman. I really think that Zack Snyder really gets how the audience wants to see Diana, because we want to see her as a warrior, and we also want to see her as this kind and genuine and warm woman who very much is the support of the Justice League, and she can be both. And Zack Snyder gets that, and his version of her, I have to say, is probably very close to my favorite. I really do love her in 2017's Wonder Woman, but again, she was very much a warrior and also a genuine and authentic and kind person. And like I said, it makes sense to make her both, because that's how the audience wants to see her. So overall, I'm so happy that Zack Snyder got to realize his vision for this movie. I'm sure now he wants to move on to other things. WB wants to move on in a new direction with these characters, which I think is a mistake. But and I'm so glad that we, as the audience, got to see this movie. It wasn't perfect, of course. The ending felt very Return to the King. I didn't really need to see Martian Manhunter. It's fine. And although the nightmare scene, I don't think hit the spot Zack Snyder was really going for, I did like seeing Affleck's Bruce Wayne and Leto's Joker interact. And again, if Jared Leto got a director who got him and a script that worked, I did enjoy his unhinged and menacing. He really did feel menacing as his character in the, what, 3-4 minutes we got to see him. So again, 45 minute to an hour episode streaming service of the Nightmareverse. I'm down. I'm there. I'm watching it. Just to wrap things up, like I said, I'm so glad that I got to see this version of Justice League. I don't think we're going to get more. I would love it if we do. Like I said, I do think it's a mistake that WB is going to go in a new direction with these characters and recast. I think that's a big mistake. However, we still got the Justice League that we wanted, and that we knew was there. And I'm happy. I think this is a great way to say goodbye to the Snyderverse. It's the best of the Snyderverse, and I'm glad that Zack Snyder got to go out on top, and I'm glad that, like I said, we as fans got to see his vision. Well, what did you think about Zack Snyder's Justice League? Comment, let me know what were some of your favorite scenes. If you didn't like it, why didn't you like it? What didn't work for you? Again, thank you for spending this time with me. Again, I'm a nurturer with movies, books, TV. Oh my! And thanks for spending this time with me. Bye-bye.